Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday the 28th and Friday the 29th of May 2020. The key here is that Friday is the end of the month. So statements will print. It's the beginning of the summer Friday. It's the end of the month. Friday is usually going to be dead. We don't typically do market previews for Friday anyways. This hasn't been the most exciting week, and it was a short week on top of it, so I wouldn't expect much out of the markets on Friday, but we'll see what we get on Thursday. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market futures form. It just threw a 13 sell signal today, so that is interesting. Closing after being down for a decent chunk of day, closed up a bit. But let's go through the major daily charts and see what we got. So crude oil is at 31.61, down $1.20. Gold up $1.30. Not a big deal there. S&P cash gains 44.36, and the cash already had a 13 sell signal. We're up against the risk line of that right now. And you know how that often goes. Once you hit the risk line, that can be the top. So we'll keep an eye on that, what it means for tomorrow. Right now, the futures are showing a flat opening tomorrow on the ES, down 2, basically, but the NQs are down 54. NASDAQ 100 was down 52.07. It gapped up, sold off, went lower, and then rallied back late in the day. It looked like things were really starting to roll. And remember, we got a 13 sell signal here about 5 days ago. So this looked like it was the start of, well, the real rollover point from that sell signal. And then we recovered a bit. So we'll see what we get. Meanwhile, the SOX was up 26.80. Not a big deal there. Pretty flat when you look at it. The biotech's up 32.11. Also pretty flat. The Russell 2000 up 43. So the small cap's trying to break out of this range as well. The VIX loses 39 cents, closes at 27.62, sitting right above that risk line. So we had been short the VXX puts from much higher on the VXX. They were the June puts, so we have less than a month left. I did close out the final piece of that today. Now we're into the calls again on the VIX. If you took our options course, the trend closes at 0.91, puts the 10-day at 1.11. NASDAQ volume 4.4 billion shares, which is pretty good. Advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ 11.1182, 11 plus 1130. Sorry, 1130. So way more stocks up than down by the end of the day, although it got iffy in the middle of the day. On the New York was plus 1824. Google loses $1.09, almost a 13. There's a 13 sell signal on Google there. So that's interesting to note. Apple up $1.38, still not to new highs. Netflix up $5.12, no big deal there. Amazon down $11.47. Tesla gains $1.36. Facebook down $3.06 off the highs. Goldman Sachs was up 13.60. That's a big move in 2 days on Goldman Sachs. 30 points. That's been a long time since that's happened. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up down 30 cents. And that is it. All right, in terms of intraday action, 5-minute candles. So here's the deal with this week, right? Remember that last Friday's close is off to the left. There's the Monday holiday where the futures are barely open. They trade almost no volume for a few hours. Doesn't even count. So really, Tuesday morning is the start of the week. It's the big gap up from Friday's close. Pulled back a little bit early, and then spent most of the day just dead flat. Sold off in the last 20 minutes or so. Tuesday, and then Wednesday we gap up. We sell off. We filled the gap. We actually go into negative territory. Never quite filled the gap from last Friday. Looks pretty negative. We had some good things going. Looked, could have been big winners, but instead it ended up being small winners. Recovered over lunch to the midpoint, then dead flat, and then coming out of lunch, popped up and went higher in the last 15 minutes, went even higher. So it ended up being a very positive day. The NASDAQ side, on the other hand, here you go. So we had gapped up Tuesday, went back down, closed negative for the day. Wednesday, we basically opened a small gap down and went lower and recovered. And right now, basically dead flat for the week on the NASDAQ 100. So it is what it is. All right, in terms of economic data that's left for the week, we've got on Thursday, preliminary GDP. That's the second look at first quarter gross domestic product. Durable goods, the initial jobless claims, preliminary GDP price index. That's an hour before the bell. 30 minutes into the market, pending home sales, an hour in natty gas, an hour and a half in crude oil inventories because of the Monday holiday. And then on Friday, 8:30 a.m. core PCE price index, personal income and spending, goods trade balance, and wholesale inventories. 9:45, 15 minutes in, Chicago PMI. 10 o'clock, revised University of Michigan sentiment. And that is it. So that's what's ahead. But remember, Friday is end of month. Friday, summer everything that you don't like to see from a trading perspective. So unless there's something early that's really outstanding and we don't get a big gap, I'm probably not going to do much on Friday. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken the trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Thursday and Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you in June.